Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we want to do a full-blown Virginia Beach KOA review. Now we have stayed at this campground multiple times. It is literally 3 miles from the Virginia Beach boardwalk, just down General Booth. So for those of you who don't know, Virginia Beach is not only a great place to vacation, but it has many options of where you stay. I mean, there's hotels, and then there's Airbnbs, and then there's these campgrounds, which are full of amenities, which we have found over the years is the most cost-effective way to do it, especially when you're taking kids or grandkids with you. Now, I don't want to say that KOA is our favorite. We're just biased because we've done a lot of trips there. And it has a higher standard, I feel, than most campgrounds in this location, at least. But we have to go and start off with the one thing that's going to affect the trip the most, which is lodging. And they have so many options for lodging.
They have a lot of options.
Yep. So you've got your cabins, which they range anywhere from the primitive, which is just basically a room with some bunk beds and a full-size bed. No amenities at all in there. All the way up to full-blown park models, which is multi-bedroom, can hold a bunch of people, have a bathroom, kitchen, full kitchen. So there's a range all in between that. And we'll talk later at the end of the video about which one we stayed in this time, because we did stay in a cabin. But they also have RV sites, obviously, with full hookups. They have tent sites that are electric and non-electric sites. They have the long-term, which, as I understand it, there's long-term RV, but there may be options of long-term for other types of camping. You would have to get with them on that. But then they also have something that my wife figured out this time that we had never thought about. They have canine sites. And what those are is you get a site, but you also get a fenced-in area for your pups. Now, that said, if you want to take your animals, they do have certain areas you're allowed to take them, but they have actual dog park play areas too.
They have a community dog park, but those sites were so cool because they have your own private dog park. So if your dog isn't one that likes to play well with others, or you just don't like to have them around other pets.
And we found that people that travel with 2 or 3 large breeds were the ones that were renting those sites because their dogs needed more room to move. So it was a nice, novel idea, and I thought it really was inclusive of people that are traveling with their furry family members. Okay, honey, you got to do the next one, which everybody always asks about in the comments. And
all right, so one of the most important things on a campground to me is their bathrooms and shower houses. And I will tell you that at this campground, it's a little bit different because they have tons. Well, they have 2 different types of bathrooms. They have gender-specific ones, male and female, or they have what we call family bathrooms. And in those family bathrooms, it is a totally private bathroom with your shower, your commode, whatever, but it's not like a whole big shower house.
Yep, it's individually. It's like if you took a building and put a bunch of doors on the outside and each door led to the bathroom in your house. I mean, it literally is just you open the door, it's a complete bathroom. And that is such a difference from normal campgrounds because you can go in there and you can take care of everything you got to do beginning to end. And it also opens up opportunities if you have young children with you and you need to go in there. And
a couple different situations, like if you have kids, you can take them all in there with you at once to just run them through the showers. And you got them all in one small space and not additional people there to distract them. Or like me and Tony tend to take showers together a lot. So as a couple, you can go in there and it's not, they're not going to look at you any differently.
Yep.
But they also have several handicap bathrooms, which is super nice because I've known someone who's went down there that had a wheelchair, and it was nice because the handicap bathrooms are big enough that you can take the wheelchair in the shower, or and they got the wand shower heads, which makes it super nice, and hot water. They always have hot water, which is really great because some places, you're fighting for the water and they're located all over the campground. There is multiple ones. So if the one next to you is pretty full, walk to the next one, which is not far away.
And a lot of them, just on a side note, if you're tent camping, have outdoor sinks set up, like full basin laundry type sinks. And it makes it really easy if you want to clean up your dishes when you're camping or something. It really is set up to accommodate everyone. Now, honey, the next one is a must if you forget something or if you are traveling a long distance and you want to pick up some things right there the first night.
So they do have a camp store right there. That's where you're going to do your actual check-in at. So you'll get to take a look at that whenever you go in there to check in. If it's after hours, you'll get your key at the guard shack. But the camp store has pretty much anything and everything that you would need. It has drinks in there. It has bread in there. It has marshmallows in there. It has all different kinds of things and tons of souvenirs.
Yep.
And let me tell you, their staff in there, I want to give something to their staff because their staff is always friendly. I've never walked in there. We've been there several times. Their camp store is great.
And generally speaking, they're not understaffed either. They have people in. There's usually 3-4 of them in there at a time running around. You can get your ice. You can get your firewood. You can get also other things that you might need for the local area, like tram tickets and other things that we'll cover later. But they have everything you need, and they also handle a lot of the stuff that involves with the pool too, which we'll talk about later. So these girls are pumping doing things, but they're a wealth of information. You can literally just walk in there and ask questions, and they're glad to talk to you. They're glad to spend the time to make your stay as good as possible. So now we got to talk about the fun part, the amenities. So at every campground, you're going to have different kinds of setups. I feel this one is best set up for either older people or pretty much any class, but it is definitely leaning towards kids because they've got some awesome stuff. But the one thing that I think everybody can agree on they want a campground is a pool. Now this one goes a step farther. They actually have 2 pools, a lazy river, and a splash pad. Now I do want to say the lazy river is not real long, but it's good enough. It's all you need. And kids absolutely love it. You can actually go in and either buy your own tube, or I believe that there's some kind of lend out system in the office/camp store there. We did see people going in and getting them and then borrowing them and going around the lazy river. The thing about the pool is they have plenty of seating. The pools are not that dark, dingy pool color. They're kept clean. You can actually see the lifeguard jumping in every hour or two and scrubbing the muck off the edge.
She was scrubbing with a scrubber and a toothbrush to make sure that everything was staying nice and clean. The loungers are all brand new.
Yep.
Very comfortable.
The splash pad for the young kids would be awesome too, because that gives them the ability, but they have a step down pool that you can get into if you've got young children that makes it so nice that you don't need a separate kids pool for your kids to be in the pool with you. We laid out by that pool and highly enjoyed it. But next we're going to talk about is they just put in a brand new playground, and it has the theme of an airplane, and it is all done up. There's so many swings and so many different parts to run around in and go down slides. It's really nice. And then they have the classic jump pads, which our kids absolutely loved. It's just a giant pad on the ground, and yes, you would jump on it too. And everybody would just jump on it and have a good time. It seems like such a trivial piece, but kids love it. The giant chess is fun. It kind of gives you the feel of like Harry Potter with the giant chess pieces. There's a ping pong, cornhole. There's a pickleball / badminton / whatever court. It's just got a net up. Basketball. Then you have like their free to use hammocks, which actually is pretty nice.
Those are actually pretty comfortable.
And then of course, bike rental and golf cart rental if you wanted them. It is a pretty big place. If you're in the back, I could understand wanting to keep all your kids corralled in, get you a golf cart and load them all up, take them to the front to the pool or around or whatever. There's a lot of things to do there. The whole thing though is you don't feel like they're trying to cram in more stuff than they should. Everything has its place and it's spread out. around one basic area to allow for, if kids and stuff are having fun up there, you're not going to hear them back at the campsites really, which is so nice. It's a perfect setup.
So, with it being so close though to Virginia Beach, they have a neat little system there where they have public transportation that is provided by the city.
Yep.
It's called the Wave. You can buy tickets for the Wave in that camp store office area, or you can buy it online. The routes vary in season, but generally they run these routes from the beginning of the summer to the end of the summer, and you'll be able to get on there and go down to the boardwalk, go to the aquarium. Yeah, very nice.
They've got ones that shoot over to different areas too. Some will go over to state parks. Some actually, I believe, they had one route previously that shot all the way over by Norfolk. But even if you wanted to go from the campground to different locations, there's other transportation publicly provided. And it's actually a really low cost, right, honey?
It is at a very low cost. So if you wanted to just do a one-day, all-day pass where you can get on and off as many times as you want, it's $4.50. If, though, you're like us, we bought the 3-day pass and can ride it as many times as we wanted for $8. And another good savings that a lot of people don't realize is kids are free.
And when you see the parking down on the boardwalk, you'll quickly understand why this is valuable, because the cost of parking down there is insane. But the other part is they have shuttles that just run the boardwalk and do loops. So say you have, your grandkids with you and they don't want to walk 10 blocks to where the next entertainment is. You jump on, you go up as far as you want to go, and you get back off. It's that easy.
So we do a lot of things, like we like to hike down to Duck Donuts, but whenever we got the grandkids with us, we just send them down on the tram, and then we go to Duck Donuts.
Yeah. So really there's plenty of options to get around from the campground to the beach area or the surrounding area so that you don't have to drive and park, which makes it an easy in and out even when things are really crazy like holidays. Now, our stay. I wanted to go over this because originally we had gone down and we were getting a bigger cabin, but the people we were supposed to go with didn't come because we came right after Hurricane Aaron. And first off, they got everything cleaned up so fast, even though there wasn't a lot of damage.
Virginia Beach is amazing.
They don't play around. They get it done. But we ended up getting a downgraded cabin that was available. So we ended up getting a 4-person cabin with bath. All right. Now this is one of like 6 different kinds of cabins they have. This one has a set of bunk beds in it. It has a full-size bed in the living room, and then it has a table and chairs, a kitchenette, and a bathroom. So it's kind of like a studio apartment with a little like closeted off area with bunk beds in it. So it's one of the smallest before you start getting down into the primitive cabins. Now that said, the trip that we took was 5 days and 4 nights. Now, mind you, different seasons and around different holidays, you're going to have different pricing. But we ended up spending for 5 days, 4 nights, $807 out the door. Now, for those you don't know, Virginia Beach has sales tax. It's pretty high, like a vacation tax, much like most areas like that do. So part of that price is based upon those taxes and stuff. But now this thing was very clean.
Very clean.
And it had an amazing AC that would freeze you out if you wanted to. I kept having to turn it back up. My wife kept turning it back down. I was like, it's too cold in here. The other thing is, a lot of times when you get into these cabins, you'll have hot water issues or water pressure issues. This thing had its own propane on-demand hot water heater under it. And you never ran out of water. It was hot water all the time, and the pressure was very strong even when the place was packed. All the other cabins were filled, still had plenty of pressure. So I think overall, it's not the cheapest way to stay there for sure. But I think it's very cost effective when you think about it for $200 a night. is what it basically breaks down to.
Yeah.
So for 2 people, $200 a night, I think it's a good option. Now, I want to talk about things we did, because how we use this might be much different than how somebody who runs around with their kids or grandkids on the trip there. We've done that before, or maybe you have some elderly people with you. Everybody's going to use this differently, this campground. So one of our favorite things to do throughout this trip was, because this was kind of also a health trip for us, is we got up every morning and walked out the front, and you make a left and go down to the next intersection. It's almost a half-mile walk, but there's a Dunkin' Donuts sitting there. So we would go down there and get sugar-free iced coffee, and what else did you get?
With cold foam.
With cold foam.
And then I got a regular iced coffee.
Yeah, and then we got
I
iced cappuccino once.
Yeah, and I got some fruity drink one time.
That was on special, yeah. We went for lunch one day and she got a fruity drink. But it's a nice way to start your morning for us, and we would get some steps in, and you get some good coffee. But another thing we like to do, because if you guys don't know, Virginia Beach has events they set up, and you can get online and look under multiple different things. It used to be Beach Street, and then it became Live on Atlantic, and then it became VB Events. But you can get on the tram and go down to the boardwalk, all right? And there's free entertainment throughout all, like, Memorial to Labor Day, that area.
And it goes on during the week, too. That's what's amazing. It's not just weekends.
Yeah, so you'll have, like, anywhere from 4 to 6 places. They'll have them at different streets where they'll be doing live events, whether it's live music, whether it's magicians, whether it's jugglers, whether it's street performers playing music, whether it's a DJ. There has been little, like, zoos and little circuses.
We've seen a circus down there.
Yeah, so you'll have all kinds of events set up, and then there also is a little pavilion between 2 bars down by 8th or 11th, somewhere in there.
Yes.
And they pay for entertainment to be in there, like live music. So we would get on the tram in the evenings and go down there and listen to music, watch shows. You can even catch up with some street performers that'll be in, like, giant stilts, or they'll be in dress up and doing things. So it's pretty interesting that the city puts forth all this at no cost. So that's one of our favorite things to do down there. Now, this last trip, we didn't have the grandkids and the family members and all of them to pay for. So we kind of went out to explore the local, like, restaurant scene a little more. And we found some amazing eateries.
Yes, we did.
That blew our mind. And then also the portions were a little bigger than they should have been. But when you really look at it, it was a very relaxing vacation for us. So whether you're looking to keep your kids or your grandkids busy, whether you're looking to slow down like us and have a healthier but also fulfilled entertainment, or if you even are bringing, like, your parents or some elderly people and just want a calm, quiet atmosphere to relax, KOA Virginia Beach marks all the boxes for us. We cannot find anything that's actually wrong with it. It does get busier during the dead of summer and the holiday time, but I will tell you this, having stayed in other campgrounds in the area, for a fact, they are much quieter at night than any campground I have ever been to. They do enforce their evening quiet time, even over holidays and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you will be able to get sleep. You won't be kept up all night by stuff. And, you know, it's one of those things where I think for the dollar value versus what you get, it makes your whole trip a lot easier. The value of what you're saving on the room versus, you know, maybe you cook a little bit. If you're trying to take a big family to Virginia Beach, hotels are not the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Whether you're in a tent, whether you're in a cabin, you can cook some meals and save some money there. It all comes out.
With all their amenities, there's just so many things for kids to do. And then everything that's free on the boardwalk. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can really do it very cost effective.
And don't be afraid of their primitive cabins either. I mean, for years,
Generally,
that's
that's
how we
what
did
we
it.
stayed in.
Because we could take the kids and put them in the bunk beds, and we took the full-size bed, and the bathhouses we talked about where it's an all-in-one is literally right next door. Literally, you walk maybe 30, 40 steps and you're at the bathroom. So in that kind of situation, it works out really well for a low price setup, because most of the time we were in Virginia Beach, we were either down at the pool or we were down at the boardwalk. So you're just needing a place to lay your head.
We're not hanging out in the rooms.
No.
Or in the cabins.
But hopefully you guys get a chance to go check this place out. I do believe that it's worth the money, and we have been going for years now and will, I'm sure, continue to go. But with that said, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you wouldn't have, go down, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you see all of our upcoming videos. We would love to have you as a part of the community. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one.